implementation, and objectives. So take a few seconds and try to match these components to their description on the right. So I'll give you a few seconds to fill this in or write it down on your own. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to message in the Telegram group. Alright, so I'll give you 20 more seconds to try to match those up, and then I'll show you the answer. Alright, so here's the answers. The background and situation provides the background information of the organization and explains the reasons why a plan should be proposed. The objectives state what the proposed plan will try to achieve. Alright, so if we're doing the paper solution, we could say the objective of this proposal is to cut down on paper wastage. Implementation means how you will do something. Okay. How you will actually do it. Implementation. That will be useful later. This includes information about work to be done, what the various stages of work are, and when they will be completed. Also, what kind of resources will be required, and who will take part. Budget should be pretty clear. That's how much it costs. And then the benefits and risks are the good things you will get by enacting this proposal and the possible problems you could face. So let's say if we want to save paper, we say, how about we do everything online? We do online forms to cut back on paperwork. Well, that's a good idea. It will save money, but also you might have the risk of information leaking to other people or hackers, right? So that's a risk that you might take with the proposal. So when you write a proposal, you need to compile all of this information for your boss usually, so that they can make an informed decision. Okay, so I will send those components to you again in the group. Here they are. Background information, objectives, typo, sorry about that. Implementation, budget, and benefits and risks. So take a few seconds and read over this sample proposal and try to match the components to where they go on here. Okay, so Chris or Angel, can you tell me what this one is? In the Telegram group, message me which one. What is this one? Money. All right. Oh, I thought that was an answer. It was a correct answer. It is the money. It's the budget, right? That was the budget. So, all right. Thank you, Natalie, for chiming in with accidentally the correct answer. Good job. Sorry, I think Chris was texting, but I gave it away. All right, so here is the rest of the answers. Background and situation, objectives, implementation. As you can see, there are a lot of information about how we will install this plan. Then we have the budget and benefits and risks. Okay, so this is a sample of a short proposal, a small proposal. So if you want to capture this and save it for later, it could be useful, but I'm going to show you another longer proposal in a few minutes. Any questions about this before we move on? I'll give you a few seconds. I don't know if you guys can hear my daughter screaming in the background. Sorry about that. There's a ghost turning the TV on, apparently. Any questions about this page? All right, next page. Identifying your audience. So, some proposals are written for audiences in your company, such as colleagues or your supervisors. Others target audiences, outside audiences, such as the government, donors, or clients. So when you write a proposal, you need to keep your audience in mind. Who are you writing for? So let's say your boss emails you about the paper problem and asks you just to write a proposal for your boss. That could be a little short, doesn't need to be perfectly refined. If you're good friends with your boss, then maybe it's okay if it has some spelling mistakes or it's quickly put together, right? But if you're writing a proposal for your entire company, something that's going out to the entire company, the CEO, CFO, all these important people, then you want it to be well written, well researched, no typos, cleanly designed, right? So what I want you to do here is read these two sample proposals, extract A and extract B, and tell me who is the audience, who is it written for, and what is their concern. Okay, so I will give you a few minutes to read it and tell me who is the audience and what is the concern. What are they concerned about? All right, Ben or Wang Ka Yu, Who do you think is the audience for the first one? Tell me in the Telegram group. Difficult question. You guys are not typing. Looking for Ben Tam or Wong Ka Yu or Chung Ting? Who do you think is the audience for the first one? Any ideas? Oh, Chung Ting is texting. Yay. Don't know. Alright, good. Fine answer. I'll accept that. Okay, so let's look at it. In echoing the government's vision about creating a greener city, Charmy Furniture has decided to
apply green enterprise funds to reduce waste at its premise. So we're going to apply for some funds to make the environment better. Who would pay for something like this? Who would pay a company money to make the environment greener? Any guesses? If you guess that the government would be the only person willing to do that, then you're probably correct. So it's in the government's interest to provide funds for companies to make the environment greener, right? The money is basically coming from all of us, from the public, and we are giving money to a company so that they make the environment cleaner, right? So let's see. Sorry. It's annoying turning this pen off. Okay. So the government, or people who are responsible for approving funding from the government. And they want to know whether the proposal is capable of fulfilling the requirements, right? So the government would mostly be concerned if we're releasing this money to the company, will they actually go through with it and enact policies that make the environment better? Or will they just stuff the money away somewhere and pretend they did it, right? So we want to make sure that they actually use the money to make the environment better. For extract B, the proposal has been prepared to suggest a detailed plan to reduce waste, as well as the expenditure for waste handling at Charmy Furniture. Alright, so the difference here is we just want to reduce waste and our waste expenditures, how much money we spend to take care of our waste. So let's say, let's use the furniture factory business. We have a furniture factory and we need a certain amount of wood to make the chairs, but we end up throwing a lot of the wood away because it's either not a good piece or it just has to do with the way we design our chairs. It wastes a lot of wood. So we want to look into that and find a way to save some of the money, right? So this time, who would be worried about it? Who is the audience? That would be the management or the senior management of the company, and they are only concerned about money, right? We're only doing this if it will save us money. So whether the costs are affordable and how it will affect our profit. So that's all that companies really care about. Alright, and then what is the major difference in the focus? Extract A focuses on the benefits to the industry and the public, and B is more about the company, right? B focuses on the benefits and risks to the company. We can skip this one down here, so the third one's not that important. Alright, so let's move on. Okay, so this page is very important. Definitely try to get this page if you can. This is the overall structure of the proposal that we will be using. Okay, these are all the important parts of a proposal that you will need to know for the exam. The exam is 60% of your grade. So we have the introduction, the purpose of the proposal, the background information of the organization and its problem or need, and the situation identified. Then we have initial proposals, investigation findings, investigation conclusions, recommended proposal, and conclusion. The initial proposals, this one is very important. Okay? Initial, another way of saying initial is, hold on, I'm going to plug in my mouse so I can write a little better. Sorry about this. Another way of saying initial first proposals. So we come up with 3 initial proposals. So the example I like to use for my classes is if we were writing a proposal to improve the canteen at Chingy Ivy, what are some 3 initial proposals that you would come up with? So let's try to think of 3 initial proposals. So anyone, please type in the group one idea that you would like to see implemented to improve the canteen at our school. So just anything that you think would improve the canteen at our school. Just type it into the group right now, and we will use that as an example. So just type one thing that you would do to improve the canteen at our school. Any answer is acceptable. All right, there we go. Price. Chris would make the food more expensive, right? You would increase the price. No, I'm just kidding. I guess you would want to decrease the price, right? Vicky says food. Food quality. Alright, let's go. Food quality. Sorry about my handwriting. I'm using a mouse to write. It's kind of difficult. And I guess you would increase the food quality, right? Alright, one more idea. Any ideas? Service. Okay. Can you be more specific, Vicky? What about the service? Staff service. So like make the employees nicer, more friendly, faster, work harder, be nicer. Don't worry, I won't tell them. I can barely speak to them anyway. Don't worry. Service. How about, let's just for the sake of an example, why did I choose such a long word? Professionalism. All right, professionalism. We'll make them more professional. How about that? Okay, so overall, our idea is to improve the canteen. Before we write a proposal, we need to think of 3 ideas. So we've got our 3 initial proposals. Decrease the price, increase the food quality, and improve the service. Make them more professional, right? Or more friendly. All right, so those are 3 good ideas. Thank you everyone who wrote something. So when we write a proposal, we do the introduction, then we have initial proposals, 3 initial ideas, and then we do investigation findings and investigation conclusions. So the investigation findings would review these 3 ideas and then figure out the results of the feasibility studies, which include the main pros and cons of these solutions. So we find the pros and cons of each solution, and then we have a summary of the facts and investigation conclusions, and then we figure out which one would be our recommended proposal. So we choose one of these to move down to our recommended proposal. So let's say we look into it and we say, well, actually the price is already quite low. It's cheaper than all of the restaurants in Mayfair Garden, and there's not really any way we can make the price lower. If we want to improve the food quality, maybe we could do that, right? There's some steps we could take to make the food better quality, including, using fresher ingredients and stuff like that. So that's possible. Improving the service professionalism would also cost too much money because we need to hire new staff and implement training. So we've decided that food quality is the best one, the easiest one for us to fix. So we have decided to increase the number of recipes that we will use and improve the ingredients to make the food quality better. Okay? So that is how a proposal works. You come up with 3 initial proposals, do an investigation, and then write a recommended proposal on which option is best. And that is what we will be doing for the exam. And then the conclusion basically just summarizes everything else that you wrote. Okay? So here are some example language that you can use in a proposal for stating the objectives. All right. So use these examples over here. You get a subject and a verb, and then a complementation. Try to write sentences to solve these problems here. All right. So I will give you about 3 minutes. Try to write one for yourself. And then, try to write one in the group. So let's see if we can get some people to write sentences in the group. I will show you an example. So the first one, all we have up here is shortage of security guards, proposal, solutions, and chain stores with the word recommend. And we have taken this proposal. Ooh, that was too dark. Sorry about that. Sorry. This proposal. And then we have recommends solutions for the shortage. Recommends. Right, so recommends comes from here, and then the rest comes from here for this information. So try your best to use the subject, the verb, and then the complementation to write a sentence using these examples. please try to write an answer in the Telegram group. Alright, anyone trying any of these? I don't see anyone typing. I know it's kind of difficult. Alright, I'll just show it to you. I know this part's kind of difficult. This proposal suggests measures which would offset the impact of a salary cut. This proposal aims to introduce a project to upgrade the computer system at the Shenzhen factory. This proposal aims to recommend a staff training program that can promote lifelong learning and ensure professionalism at HAA Insurance. And the objective of this proposal include analyzing the results of the staff satisfaction survey and suggesting ways to reduce staff turnover. Alright, so you can see it follows these formats. The objectives for this proposal are, include, aims, recommends, advises, and then what we plan to do. Okay, so record this and maybe come back and use it later when you're writing your proposals. I know that part was a little difficult. Alright, so here is a sample proposal that you can find in the textbook in chapter 7. Okay, this one has all of the important parts of a proposal that you will need when you write the exam. Okay, so it has the introduction, including purpose, background, and situation identified. It has the initial proposals 1, 2, and 3. Then the investigation findings, where it goes over the 3 initial proposals. The investigation conclusions is what we can learn from the investigation findings. And then our recommended proposal. Following the investigation conclusions, it is recommended that King Ting take part in the non-profit organization's volunteer program. This is the initial proposal 1. Right, take part in the non-profit organization's volunteer program, which helps the elderly. Alright, so that's how that works. There's another page to this. This is very useful if you don't have the textbook. I highly recommend that you grab this. So I'll give you a few seconds. Introduction, initial proposals, investigation findings and investigation conclusions, recommended proposal, and then the conclusion, right? Recommended proposal includes implementation details, which we saw, and the elaboration on benefits. And then as you can see, the conclusion is very short. It's just a few sentences that summarizes everything that was talked about in the proposal. Alright, some good news for you guys. You guys might be looking at this and thinking that it's a very difficult task, right? But here's some good news. On the exam, about 2 weeks before the exam, I will give you these 3 sections. So 2 weeks before the exam, I will give you these 3 sections of the proposal. Then on the exam day, I will give you the investigation conclusions. And then you will write this. So you will write the recommended proposal, including implementation details and elaboration on benefits, and a conclusion. Okay? So that is what you are responsible for writing on the day of the exam. Any questions about that? Please message me in the Telegram group right now if you have any questions about that. When will we do in EF? Sorry, do you mean when will we do the EA, the exam? Oh, yeah, E and F, gotcha. When will you do the exam? That's a good question. The exam is scheduled for lesson 13, and right now we're at about lesson 7. So we got a few weeks, at least. It hasn't been officially announced if they're going to move the EA date back yet or not. But I think originally, I have to look at the calendar again. Whenever lesson 13 was originally scheduled for, that is still when the exam is supposed to be. So it hasn't officially changed yet. So as of now, all I know is that the EA will D and F give us on exam day. No, I will just give you D on the exam day. So I will give you A, B, C 2 weeks before the exam. Then I will give you D on the exam day. And then I will give you E and F. And then you will write E and F. You write E and F. Let me know if that makes sense. All right, any other questions about that? Okay, let's, last thing. So I would like to ask you all to read this sample proposal, the last couple pages, so this, and this, and then complete this mind map here. You can either draw it up on your own on Microsoft Word, or you can complete it in the textbook and send it to me. But I want you to fill in all of these blanks based on this proposal. So tell me, what is initial proposal 1? What are the benefits? What are the benefits for the community? What are the actions to make the proposal more effective? What are possible concerns? And what are the measures to address possible concerns? So you can write it down on paper, or you can draw it up in Microsoft Word and email it to me on my work email address. So that is your homework for the next few days. Please send that to me by Friday. Okay, so that's everything that I have for you today. Do you have any questions? I will give you a few minutes to send any other questions you have. Thank you, Moon, for asking those questions a few minutes ago. Alright, seems like we don't have any questions. Feel free to ask me questions any other time during the week. If it's a question that you think will apply to everyone, like it's a question about the exam or the NLP, just ask me in the group. It's much easier for me to answer in the group, and then everyone can see it, so I don't get the same question a million times, and very helpful for everyone else. But also feel free to message me one-on-one if you want. I hope this was helpful today. Thank you for joining. I'm going to send you just a few more pieces of information after I close the group. But thanks, guys. Take care. Hope you're all staying safe and having a little bit of fun. So take care. Bye-bye.